Hello everybody! Alright, so today I am going to go over part 2 of part 1, the foundations of love. And so on the last time I had defined love kind of in a worldly view and then a biblical view and kind of compared the two. And I left off on, and I have my little journal, I'm not looking at the ground, but so I left off on how do we love and then why do we withhold our love. And I think that really a big thing that comes down to is standards and expectations. Because we have this almost like if someone acts a certain way to me, then they can then receive love from me. But there's a price to pay in order to receive. And that is an expectation, because that is not what love should be. Because an expectation is the act or state of expecting or looking forward to an event, and it is a personal belief. So an expectation is putting a weight on someone that is your own personal bias, is your own personal conviction, it is your own personal beliefs, and putting that on someone else to carry that, even if that's not what they believe or who they want to be. And if they don't do that, because you're expecting them to do something, and then if they do, then they will receive acceptance and love and, or forgiveness and yada, yada, yada. And so the thing is that God's love, He came to have love be as like a standard. That there are standards, there are good principles, there are good things that should be followed in order for love to be how He, created it to be. And so a standard is a principle used for comparison. It is a basis. And so the Bible is full of principles and standards that are great bases, that are great foundations to build upon. And so I know, like for me, what I've, recently had to start doing is just kind of in my past, there were some things I didn't think, in ways I acted that weren't right. And so kind of in order to correct that, for instance, for dating now, I look in the Bible and I look at men of God and I look at men that were pursuing God and I look at those characteristics and I make those characteristics be my standards and my principles to date. And so that I make that a personal conviction and I don't place that on anyone. Because that's something that I actually struggled with, was putting expectations on people that wasn't meant to be their expectation. And so with a standard, it becomes a personal responsibility. It's something that I have to control with myself, and it's really between me and God. And it's no longer between me making someone choose God. And so with this standard, it's great because like me and a friend, we made a list of non-negotiables in dating. And so we made this list of things, and I say list, like I think both of us only had a couple because there were just a couple key things that are really, that me and her felt were really needed in, dating someone. And I say that and some people might be like, only 5? Because, okay, obviously there are negotiables. Like for me, I'm 6 foot. I would love a tall man. However, you know what? If he loves Jesus, we can negotiate height. That's, you know what? If it's like you are, Prince Charming, but you just happen to be 5'10", you know what? I can like, I don't know, get like a little hunch or something so that we're the same height. I could do that. I can make that. If you are running after God and love Jesus, you know what? Great. I can deal with short. But so there are other things like, being a Christian, that has become like my top number one. It's a non-negotiable. Now that doesn't mean I treat people who aren't Christians any differently. And I'm not talking about romantic love, but I'm going to love them like a friend. I'm going to love them like Jesus would. Jesus hung out with the sinners. He did not hang out with the Pharisees and Sadducees. Those were not his peeps. Because those people thought they were above the law. They put expectations on the people and thought they were holier than thou. No, he saw the hurt and the broken and the dying, and he loved them regardless of if they wanted to believe and accept him. And so, whenever you have an expectation, you're putting a weight on someone that they weren't meant to carry. But whenever you take that weight and you put it on yourself because it's now a personal conviction, it's a personal issue to deal with, it's a personal thing to deal with God about, then that frees the other person of that expectation and that weight. And there is then an openness and an acceptance that they feel from you. And then that is how love can be reciprocated between. And again, I'm not talking just about like romantic. I'm talking about just a friend. If I have all these expectations for my friend, but then I say, you know what, how about I deal with my own standards and let you be you, and I'm going to love you as you are, and I'm going to love you to Jesus, then there is an openness and an acceptance there for them to know my love and to know that, in having no expectations, like Now, I'm not talking about like, respect and stuff like that. But I am close friends, with people who aren't Christians. And I love them. And they know where I stand and I know where they stand. But there is something that they notice in me that is different because most of the world, if you don't believe what they want, you are shunned, you are discriminated against, and all this stuff. But whenever I can just love someone like Jesus loves someone, there is a rawness in that love and there's something different. And so today I just want to close kind of with thinking about, what I know, especially for me, because it is just something I struggled with, and I'm not perfect on it because I put expectations on people I shouldn't have. And I had to really work with myself on going to God to set standards for myself and kind of in the not getting too into something and then putting an expectation on a person, but dealing with myself in the beginning to have standards. So again, maybe I'm just friends with that guy instead of dating him because I still love him and I will love him like a friend and I will love him like Jesus would. But I know because of my standards and kind of what the Bible says that I can't get into a relationship with them. And that's okay. And it doesn't mean that I can't talk to you anymore. No, I still love them like Jesus would. But it means I don't put something on them that wasn't meant for them to deal with. And so, so that is standards and expectations. And so I think though too, whenever we free others of expectations and we just have an abundance of love, I think how we love others really shows our relationship with God. And so, I can say just from personal experience, whenever I'm closer with God and I'm walking in His love, it is just second nature for me to love everyone around me even more because I know the love He has for me. So I'm like, how can me, another human, withhold my love from another mere human going through the same crazy life? And so, but I know whenever I'm not really close with God, it's a lot easier for me to shun people or think I'm holier than thou and all that crazy mess. And so I really would encourage you that if that is something you're struggling with, to really kind of get away with God about it. And I know that obviously a relationship with God is just awesome. But I know whenever I'm walking in that with Him, it's just the joy I feel and the love and the peace and the grace and the forgiveness. It overflows to everyone around without me even having to try because it's not me, it's all Him. And so that is it for today. Next Tuesday, I will be picking up on, the actual part 2 of this. And so, it's going to be a surprise. But yeah, it'll be a surprise. And, so today, just everything you do, try not to put expectations on people. Try to just love them like Jesus would and let yourself just be an overflow and overabundance of that love because we're in a lost and dying world. So why not be the light and why not be the love? Because if the world sees this little glimmer of love in us, who knows what it could do? And so that is it. So I love y'all so much. Taylor will be on Thursday. I'll be on Tuesday. And again, I love being back, love doing this, love spending time with y'all. So I will see y'all Tuesday. Have a great day. Love y'all.